Hi historians, let's now have a look at how we might go about doing some source analysis and evaluation of primary sources, cartoons connected to Russian history. So I've started with this one and you can see straight away that I've got a background statement and I've got some bibliographic details. Our step one is always to pick through those details carefully. So before drilling into the artwork itself, which you can see I've already got, it's straight away where our eye is drawn to it. Before we go to there, let's go to the background statement and recognise that it's an image described as a political caricature. It's a caricature of Russia's imperial society. It was drawn by a Russian socialist revolutionary, some terms there we've got to get our head around. And his name is Nicholas Lokov, and he drew it in 1901. Now, Lokov drew it while he was in Switzerland, in exile, after fleeing repression, suppression, police surveillance by the Tsarist government. Now, step two you should know is think about the main features of the imagery. And I had those arrows there straight away to get you thinking, okay, well, what are the main features? I suspect most of you don't speak Russian. So you've got to look at this imagery and think about what's there. Look at every level. Who might these people be here? Look at the child. Look at the mother and the women. Who are these people? They seem to be dressed differently. When we look at the next bit, who are these? Largely men, but a couple of women sitting around. What are they holding in their hands? What are they doing? Who's our next group? Who are they? What are they doing? Our next group, who are they and what are they doing? Then we start to see the eagles appearing. Notice it's a double-headed eagle. We've got a lot more finery in the clothing here. Who are these people? What might they be doing? And then we've got a couple sitting at the top, and I notice a crown on one of their heads easily, and our large double-headed eagle. Maybe that gives us some ideas. Let's go through. I've done some translating for you. Down the bottom, we have our peasants. We feed you. We've got our workers, one of them waving the red flag of Russian Soviet revolution, socialist revolution, Marxist revolution. We work for you. The next level is eating for them. It's the bourgeoisie, it's the investing middle class. It's those people of Russian society who are wealthy, employers, own the factories, the capitalist exploiters of the workers. The next level up, two different groups of soldiers. We shoot at you. We've got our Cossacks, known to be loyal to the Tsar, very well known in their high boots and fur hats, and our Russian army, slightly different uniforms and their commanders with them. We shoot at you. Then we have our Russian Orthodox priests, and the labeling of what they're saying is we fool you. That religion is a lie, according to a socialist revolutionary such as Nicholas Lokov. Above them, once we get into this realm of the eagles, we rule over you. Not all are wearing uniforms. Some are high-ranking civil members of society, the ministers, the prime ministers. We have our princes and aristocrats at the top here. And then at the very top of this hierarchy, we have the Tsar and the Tsarina reigning over the people, and the double-headed eagle of their crest at the top in case there's any doubt who they are. Take a moment to take that in, think about it, maybe make some notations on your screen. Finally, let's now make well-supported judgments about how this source may be useful. And then think about well-supported judgments about its reliability. Take a moment, think about what you might say about why this is useful, and jot a few ideas down. Hit pause if you like. I suspect also you feel that this is a fairly reliable source. Have we got any content? Have we got any information we've covered so far that leads you to be able to reach a conclusion where you say, a source such as this is reliable? Is there anything you've got that corroborates it? Think about making your statements explicit when you write these down. The source, The Social Pyramid by Nicholas Lokoff in 1901, is a useful source because it provides, it allows, it helps who? Historians, students, to do something, see something, understand something. Why is it useful? Second point, thinking about reliability. The Social Pyramid by Nicholas Lokoff in 1901 is a reliable source because it reflects the ideas of, the imagery of. It reflects an understanding of Russian society that is hierarchical, feudal in nature, unjust, unfair. Think about how you might frame that reliability. What corroborates it? Who else says anything that reflects what Lokoff is saying? Perhaps this source. This one's called The Russian Wedding Cake, and it was produced after the March Revolution of 1917. Now, first step, of course, I get that from the caption, the source details, the background statement. The date's there, August 1917. Now, think about at times when you look at sources in step 2, what your eye is drawn to. Certainly, there's a lot of similarities here in a sense. The Russian Wedding Cake corroborates Nicholas Lokoff's Social Pyramid. But in this case, what's missing? Look at the top. It's not so much what's drawn, but sometimes it's what's not drawn. The space. After 1917, the Tsar is no longer in power, but we have a different group in power. These are not our socialists yet. We're not sure who this group is. Perhaps they're the liberals after the March 1917 revolution. Context helps us. Step 2, main features of the imagery. Let's think these through. In the middle down the bottom, we have the miners in their dark coal mines. We mine for you. We have our farmers, our peasants. We farm for you, and we have workers in factories with their hammers, with their metal, with their tools. We work for you in factories. Then again, we have the army shooting at them, keeping them in their place. We shoot at you. We can see the cavalry horse protruding out from the side, the guns, the weaponry pointing straight at the audience this time. Think about that as a technique you can talk about. The weapons are literally aimed at us, the audience now. Look how fat our next level is. The uniforms, the business people perhaps, and we eat and grow fat for you. The arm, the lechery of these people. This is our bourgeoisie, our capitalists, our privileged classes who eat at the expense of the workers. Very socialist, left-leaning cartoon. And we're going to have to look into that a little bit more detail. Again, we have our Russian Orthodox Church praying. And notice the number of bottles in the background and this guy falling over here on the floor. We pray and drink for you now. Getting at the decadence of the church. The inappropriate behaviours of the church. Saying that they set themselves up as holy now, but perhaps they aren't. Interestingly, this chap over here has even got a caricature that we might, if we could just drill in a bit further, may even be slightly anti-Semitic, perhaps, at the hooked nose and the beard. Maybe this is attacking not just the Russian Orthodox Church, but the Jewish faith as well. Finally, the group at the top, we rule over you, no longer the Tsars, not the Tsarina, and not particularly aristocracy. This is probably people like Alexander Kerensky, those liberal bourgeoisie members of the Duma who take power after March 1917. Finally, let's think about a couple more things. Making some well-supported statements, well-supported judgments, evaluative statements, if you like, on the usefulness and reliability of a source like this. I think we could actually make a fairly good comment about reliability here. The Russian Wedding Cake, drawn circa August 1917, is highly reliable because it corroborates or is corroborated by Lokov's social pyramid. It demonstrates, it is useful in demonstrating, it gives an insight into the different social classes from the perspectives of a socialist revolutionary or socialist revolutionaries. Play around with what you might say there. We'll leave that video clip or this video clip at that point.